All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Today is August 7th, and we have a enhanced severe weather risk for most areas of Central Georgia today. So I'm going to kind of be here for about 20 to 30 minutes, just kind of giving you a breakdown of what I'm seeing on the graphics, what I'm seeing on the models, just kind of my personal opinions about what is going to happen today in terms of this enhanced risk, and kind of break it down piece by piece for you. So I'll kind of show you everything that's going on, because this is a very widespread event across the east coast of the United States. So we're going to go ahead and kind of get into that, and we're going to talk about today's heat too, because that's kind of contributing to all of these storms today. So as you can see behind me right here, this is our SPC Storm Prediction Center outlook for the East Coast today, and even stretching all the way over into the Great Plains over there. So as you can see, the darker colors like this kind of pinkish red right here, that is at the center. That is the level 4 risk. That is for Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and somewhat in the Tennessee and North Carolina border right there in the Appalachian Mountains. So that is the greatest risk that we're looking at today. Of course, that's not Central Georgia, but we're really talking about the potential for tornadoes and very, very strong winds and heavy rain associated with these severe thunderstorms forming in this area. So take it a step out right here to the level 3. That is the event that we are in right here in Central Georgia. So it's stretching all the way up to even the state of New York is what we're talking about right there, but it's stretching all the way down here into Central Georgia, which I will zoom in for you right here. And as you can see, all of our counties are in some level of risk for today in terms of severe weather. So we're talking this level 3, the kind of orange-brown color that is dipping down from a line from about Butler all the way over to just below Soperton. Every county from there all the way north is in that level 3 severe weather risk. So we're talking places like Forsyth, Macon, Dublin, Warner Robins, Perry, Milledgeville, most of our highly populated cities and towns and counties. So all of those counties right there. But just because you're not in the level 3 severe weather risk, you still are in a level 2 down here further to the south. So we're talking about Montezuma, Eastman, Cordele, Abbeville, McRae, areas further to the south of our coverage area, and those areas are in that level 2 threat, which is still a greater threat than what we were in yesterday. I mean, some counties were in that level 2 threat, but we saw the storms that did come through yesterday, and they packed quite the punch. So areas are in at least that kind of risk or even greater today. So that is what we're kind of going to be looking at. And as you can see over here to the left side of the screen, potential threats for these storms are going to be damaging winds. We're talking straight line wind gusts, not necessarily tornadic activity. I'll get into that just a little bit, but damaging winds, straight line winds, we're talking typically they only get up to about 60 miles an hour associated with severe thunderstorm warnings, but today we could even see them as high as 70 to 80 miles an hour. So really packing quite a punch. So anything that you have, property outside, lawn furniture, anything outside, pets, you want to kind of go ahead and prepare early, kind of tie those outdoor objects down and make sure everything is secure outside, because we are looking at the possibility of those winds kind of blowing that stuff around and really destroying it. The possibility for large hail is also in play. Well, I don't think that's the greatest risk. I think the winds are going to be more of the concern for today. We still could see hail that could get up to about an inch, inch and a half, maybe even 2 inches in some places that are conducive for that. But we also have that possibility today, but I think the winds are going to be more of the concern area-wide today. And then also the typical things that you do see with severe thunderstorms, we're talking heavy downpours and we're talking frequent lightning. We're not necessarily talking about flood watches or anything today because this is going to be a very quick moving wave of storms this afternoon, and that is going to work in our favor in terms of flooding and accumulation of rainfall. But still, nonetheless, while this does pass through you, this is going to be a very intense and very heavy downpour for these areas. So once again, all of us in those risks today for severe weather right there. We'll go ahead and get into kind of what's going on right now. So as you can see, our current temperatures all nestled in the 90-degree mark right now. So you can see areas ranging all the way from, it looks to be about 91 degrees all the way to 95 degrees across central Georgia. So that's typical temperatures about what we see in the summertime, kind of right there around average. But what we want to make note of is this right here, the dew points. And you can see dew points are very, very high today. So lots and lots of moisture is available within the atmosphere, and we're talking about dew points all the way up to about 80 degrees in some places. So the higher those dew points kind of get, we're already known to have the 70-degree dew points, which do make it very, very humid outside, and that's the typical thing that you do see in the summertime. But these dew points that get up into the upper 70s and even reach the 80-degree mark, they kind of make that oppressive heat just grow exponentially. So think about it like a difference between 77 and 78 for your dew points is going to be a lot different for what it feels like rather than as opposed to 71 and 72 degrees. So the higher you get up, the more exponential that heat does feel like. And we'll pull up the feels like temperatures right now. I did mix up that graphic right there. But real quick, worth mentioning, these dew points, they are not wavering for the week to come. We might have a little bit of a dip down on Thursday and Friday, but this humidity is going to be present throughout the rest of the week. So kind of keep that in mind as I keep going through the graphics about what's to come later on this week. But our focus right now is for today, and you can see we're all in the pink right now. Areas reaching as high as 115 for the heat indices right now. We're talking Macon and Warner Robins. Other areas a little bit cooler, talking 111 in Gordon, Butler, Montezuma. But this is putting us in that heat advisory criteria. So we're talking feels like temperatures of about 105 plus, but this is getting into the excessive heat warning territory, which we kind of saw last summer, if you remember, with feels like temperatures getting closer up to that 120 range. So very, very oppressive heat. So that is the combination of those mid-90s temperatures with the humidity being all the way up in the upper 70s and the 80s. So keep that in mind. Lots and lots of moisture. The humidity is very high today, and that is going to be a driving force for our storms later on today. And as mentioned, we are now in what looks to be an excessive heat warning for areas right here. Let me just kind of showing you how much moisture is available over the southeast, but let's take it back to central Georgia right here. Maybe even a little bit outward right there, so you can see some areas in that excessive heat watch down there. But most of our areas right here, we're talking about counties like Baldwin, Bibb, Twiggs, Houston, Peach, all of these areas in the purple are in that excessive heat warning right there. So it is really getting on up there, and we're talking about heat that can pack quite a punch in terms of dehydration, really giving you heat exhaustion effects, heat stroke. So if you are outside for these last couple hours of school, you're out on a job site or something, stay hydrated. It is going to be very, very important today to stay hydrated, keep your body cool, take frequent breaks, because you don't want to be out in that heat more than you have to, because it will just add up and really wear your body down. So that is what we're standing at. Otherwise, some areas you can see over in the kind of brownish, a little bit more relief, but we're still talking pretty hot temperatures today is what it feels like, really muggy. And then even with some winds that we have right now, I think we got some gusts about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and it's really just blowing all that humidity in your face, just making it feel very, very unpleasant all over the area right now. So I will get to the radar now, and I will show you kind of what's going on, if that will pull up right there. So as you can see, nothing really going on. We got a few spotty things right here trying to pop up around the Georgia-Alabama state line, but you can kind of see that box right there, that yellow box at the corner of the screen. So that is the first severe thunderstorm watch that has been issued for some of the Georgia area right now. And if we take a zoom out, we can see how widespread that is, and you can see some of the stuff already getting going in the northwest corner of Georgia. So this whole big box is areas that are susceptible to severe thunderstorm conditions throughout the duration of this watch, which I believe is until 7 p.m. for these counties right here. And you can see it's kind of clipping Jasper County, getting into our viewing area right there. But as you can see, lots of organized storms forming around the northern Alabama corridor, around the Georgia-Alabama state line, and all the way up into the Tennessee Valley region. So, and if you take a look even up here, right here, we got this red line that's indicating a tornado watch for those counties. So we're looking at the possibility of tornadoes forming with these severe thunderstorms all the way up in Tennessee. We're not looking at that threat anywhere down near central Georgia, but still kind of showing you the potential for these storms, what they can do, but not necessarily in central Georgia for the tornadoes. And I'll take it even a step further out and give you a very widespread view, and you can see all of these boxes just scattered up and down the East Coast. So the smaller yellow polygons, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings, kind of like what we saw yesterday. The areas that are the smaller red boxes are the tornado warnings right there. So you can see tornadoes or tornadic activity is popping up across areas in Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia already, and anywhere in those red boxes are very susceptible to tornadoes. So the really widespread event, once again, just kind of reiterating that, how many places it's going to affect across the East Coast today, not just us, and we are a part of a very large system that is going to be moving through. And there is also weather moving through here right now. Our radar just doesn't go out that far. It's not picking up all that rain and lightning like it is in Tennessee. So other radars up here are seeing that stuff, but we still do get all the warnings and stuff like that. And also just worth noting, these green areas, these are the flash flood watches and warnings that do pop up with the accumulation of rainfall right there. So let's get into Central Georgia. What does our afternoon look like? And this is according to our graph future view, which we see us use during the shows typically. We're talking about high temperatures right now, getting all the way up to almost the triple digits at the 2 p.m. hour here. You can see 99 Macon, 97s, and then other areas in the mid 90s, but still just very, very oppressive heat right now. So that's the perfect breeding ground for severe thunderstorms like we have been seeing. And then as you can see, 3 p.m. we have some stuff trying to pop up towards the southwest. Don't really get pinpointed with these locations. Think of this as more potential across the area. So we're not looking at like that little thunderstorm cell trying to move into Macon County around the 3 p.m. hour. It very well could, but Future View is not the best at resolving the exact locations of these. So kind of think of it as the potential is already there for these severe thunderstorms. So while we do have a general time frame for these storms, they could very well pop up at a different time today. So as you can see, 5 p.m. is kind of when we start to see some spotty stuff. A few showers kind of get going around some of our western counties, and you can see some of that cloud cover. And then all this stuff up here in the northeast, the heavy rain and the darker colors of the radar signatures starting to move on into our area around the 5 p.m. hour when we're kind of getting to the hottest part of the day. So when this system is beginning to move over central Georgia, as mentioned, all that humidity providing the perfect fuel and the perfect driving force for all of these storms to continue to move through the area. So we're talking about northwest flow. That's kind of going to be the general direction that the winds are coming from associated with this. But as it moves through, we're talking about a general south-southeast direction, kind of what we have been seeing lately associated with these lines of thunderstorms. So once again, all that moisture present, we're talking about convective activity right now, and we have a very widespread system, a very widespread driving force synoptically, kind of more of a larger scale across the United States, which we're dealing with today. It is going to form all of these storms in kind of an organized line across where it is moving through. So all that moisture is going to be present. We're talking about convective style storms. So all that moisture present at the surface, and then the convective process, warm air rises, cool air sinks. So that warm air is going to continue to rise up throughout the day and is going to lift that surface moisture and allow for the surface moisture to form clouds and continue to grow higher and higher and higher. And the higher the cloud height, the more severe storms get. So think of it kind of just like a cylinder almost. So if you have a flat kind of cylinder, maybe about this big, there's only so much rain that's fallen in between that cylinder right there. But the higher the cylinder goes, there's more rain that can continue to fall from the top of that cloud. And that's the kind of stuff we're going to be dealing with today. And the higher the cloud tops, we are talking the more potential for hail, as well as the higher you get into the atmosphere, the colder it is. So we're talking about those kind of heavy rain, hail producing, and then damaging winds as well. So we are looking at a lot of shear and a lot of driving wind forces that are going to propel some of these thunderstorms to have about 60 to 70 to possibly even 80 at the most severe points of these thunderstorms. We're talking about 60 to 80 mile an hour winds associated with these thunderstorms once again. So as you can see, about the 7 p.m. hour really gets going over maybe the northern coverage area of our viewing area. But once again, this could move a lot faster. There's a lot of instability with that moisture right now in the atmosphere. So as it continues to form out to our northwest and kind of drape down across the Dixie Valley region, we are looking at these storms to kind of pop up out of nowhere very spontaneously, and once they get going, they're not going to stop for a good bit. So let's take it to 8 p.m. You can kind of see some organization amongst this line right here, and that is what we're going to be talking about, and that's going to form the most severe threat right there. Very widespread, kind of a line of severe thunderstorm warnings that we could be looking at around the 8 p.m. hour tonight. And then let's take it a step further to 9 p.m. Luckily, it seems to kind of be moving out of the area, so that is some good news. Maybe some southeast areas in our viewing area are going to still see some of those severe thunderstorms, but the majority of the risk is to our north and, to our east rather as well. So once that comes about 10 p.m., we can expect virtually clearing out in terms of the rain and the severe weather, looking at just some cloud cover that's going to keep us a little bit warmer tonight, and then we'll move it on into Tuesday as well. So as mentioned, that is kind of what we're looking at for today. I'll take it a step further and show you what's going on Tuesday as well, because we also are looking at another severe weather threat tomorrow. As you can see, starting out tomorrow, kind of like we did today, there was some cloud cover, but virtually clear as we start the day and allowing for that sunshine to provide just enough heat for us as we look to propel another system of storms through our area tomorrow. So about the 12 p.m. hour, you can see some stuff tries to get going. Once again, don't get pinpointed on the times and the location of this, just kind of get a general idea. So think about lunchtime. There's some stuff out to the west. It could be all over us by lunchtime, or it could be way far away and be a little bit later in the day. So then as you kind of approach the afternoon, we're talking about times where kids are getting out of school, talking about bus stops, maybe even a late lunch break for you folks at work. That is when some stuff tries to pop up. And tomorrow we're looking at more of those southern counties that may not get clipped by the storms today, but still have the potential to see that risk tomorrow. So that's the 2 p.m. hour right there. And then as we roll through the evening, get to about 9 p.m., kind of clearing out again, similar to today. And then we'll take it a step further to Wednesday as well, clear on Wednesday morning, and looking like generally just some spotty stuff on Wednesday so far. So this is 2 days out. More model runs will continue to come out, but it's looking like scattered potential for storms. You can see up here in the corner, some stuff is projected to go towards the Atlanta metro area and then kind of pop down and hit us around the midnight hour right there. So that is what our future view does have. Once again, these models have not been very consistent in terms of location, in terms of timing, so it is kind of taken with a grain of salt, but it is a great tool to look at, to think about in terms of the potential. And typically it is pretty spot on about some of our convective style storms that we do have in the summertime. They're just very hard to predict because of their spontaneous nature and kind of popping up out of nowhere, very hit or miss and stuff like that. But due to the organization of these storms rolling through today and tomorrow, this is going to be a very good prediction of areas that are going to see the effects of the severe weather for the coming days. So let's get on into the outlooks. As I just showed you, here's the outlook for today one more time, looking like a little tub of Neapolitan ice cream, if you will. Kind of got the strawberry, got the vanilla, got the chocolate, but it's really just kind of cross-sectioning against central Georgia, allowing for different areas of us to have different potentials for severe activity today. So once again, keep in mind, we were under a level 1 and a level 2 yesterday, and it did bring quite the fair amount of severe thunderstorms through the area. So we're talking about that and even more potential with a level 3 in our northern counties. So as I said, on Tuesday, looking at it being the more of the risk being towards the south, and you can see that reflected in this outlook right here. Areas furthest to the north, Putnam County, Jasper County, Hancock County, northern edges of Baldwin, Jones County, even Washington County, not even in a severe weather risk. They still could see some of that rain that does through, or some of those thunderstorms rather, that move in tomorrow. But then you get a little section of a level 1 risk, and then areas down towards the south in that level 2 risk. So while they may not get clipped today by some of this stuff, they are very likely to see some of the effects tomorrow. And then we'll take it one step further right here and just take a peek at what's going on Wednesday. You can see central Georgia kind of in this northwest corridor right here in that level 1 risk, and more of the risk up towards the Great Plains area, maybe around the Arkansas, the Tennessee area, Missouri. That's kind of what we're talking about on Wednesday. So once again, for today, I'll pull this outlook back up just to show you. Well, actually, I'm going to pull it all big screen to give you an idea of where the most severe weather is. So once again, we're seeing that stuff already start to fire up around here. You can see this area is in the level 3 severe weather risk right now, but some of that tornadic activity, all the severe thunderstorm warnings that we were seeing on the radar that I'll give you a peek at in another second. But you can see it's all kind of nestled up here, more so in the Virginia, West Virginia area, maybe even getting up to Maryland. So it is going to be quite a busy afternoon all across the East Coast, and we're looking at that to even take kind of drape down all the way down into central Georgia and other areas of Alabama, even South Carolina, and other states in the southeast. So let's take one more peek at what is going on already on the radar and kind of give a little time estimate about what could continue to pop up through the afternoon. This is what I'm going to be looking at all afternoon, just to really get an idea about when this stuff is going to come over and originate in the west and kind of come over into central Georgia. As you can see, all the way up here right now, and northern Alabama, North Georgia, northwest Georgia is where we're seeing stuff. We're seeing severe thunderstorm warnings all over the northwest corner of central Georgia right now. So that is going to be the story for right now. No severe thunderstorm watch issued for us yet, but we still have plenty of fuel for these storms to continue to pop on up. So that is generally what we are going to be looking at today. I will be looking at it all afternoon, kind of giving Ben some updates while he's doing the 5 and the 6 o'clock show. And once this stuff kind of gets into the area, about maybe 6, 7, maybe even 8 o'clock at the latest, we will be prepared to go live and keep you informed as the severe weather does trek through our area. But a busy couple days going on in central Georgia. Just want you to stay weather aware. Again, any loose property, lawn furniture that you do have outside, it will be a good idea to tie that down and secure it. Anything you do have outside, you have outside dogs, you will want to bring them in for the coming days, as these storms are not going to be conducive for your pets to be outside. And if you wouldn't keep your furry friends out there, you should sure not be outside either. So we don't want you driving through this. We want you staying inside the safety of your home, staying updated with us, and waiting until we give you the all clear to go outside and enjoy evening plans. But I would put the grill cover on and maybe bring the grill inside for the next couple of days. It's going to be an eventful couple evenings in terms of severe weather and severe thunderstorms across central Georgia. So let me answer some comments about what you guys are asking about. Let's see. Sorry, just taking a quick gander right here at what you guys are saying. I see a lot of questions about what about this area, what about that area. Once again, all of central Georgia is under a severe weather outlook, so it's going to be really a wide stretch of storms, which I'll show you on future view. Again, that is going to impact most all of our areas, if not all of our areas. So we're talking about very widespread stuff, as you can see, not only stretching across the state of Georgia, stretching across the entire East Coast. We are on the southern edge of the most severe threat. I don't think any tornadic activity is going to be in play today. There's a small possibility for it just to cover the bases, but I do not believe that that is going to stretch as far down southward as we think so. But there is some stuff around the North Carolina-Tennessee border right now, so we will keep an eye out for it, but I do believe it is less likely today. So widespread stuff. We're talking about coming in from the northwest, so northwestern counties. We're talking like Pike, Lamar, Butte, Spalding, Jasper, Monroe County, Upson County. You guys are going to be kind of the first areas to see all of this thunderstorm activity. Putnam County, Jones County, all of these areas up here in the northwest, you are going to be first impacted by this. And then shortly after, we're talking about a very quick wave of thunderstorms moving through. So as you can see, this is at the 7 p.m. hour. That's the 9 p.m. hour, and it's almost out of our area by then. So keep in mind the nature of how fast these thunderstorms are moving through our area. That is going to show you kind of the intensity of those winds that can be present with this. And we're talking about straight line winds strong enough to blow down trees, blow down power lines, really throw some outdoor furniture around, cause some damage to any outdoor sheds or tin roofs. So that is going to be how widespread this event is. I will say areas like Forsyth, Thomaston, Eatonton, y'all will be the first to see them, and then maybe within the next 30, 45 minutes, it'll get down all the way to Warner Robins, Wrightsville, Irwinton, Jeffersonville, and Twiggs County, Cochran. Very fast-moving storm, so just keep in mind that this will be widespread across the entire area of central Georgia. So what about me? What about Washington County? What about Telfair County? All of you are going to be seeing the effects of this afternoon. It is just a matter of timing with it and when these storms kind of get popped up with all the potential energy there for them to continue to grow in size and grow in severity. So once again, starting in the northwest, the north, kind of moving in a general southeast direction across the area. Areas further to the southwest a little less susceptible according to this model, but another model might say something different. I mean, the high-res model is only depicting stuff popping up in our northern counties, and it's predicting it to last until about 12 a.m. But the high-res model has been very, very inconsistent lately. That's why I'm showing you this graph future view model, which has been more accurate at predicting this kind of convective activity, this summertime storm activity right here. So once again, all areas of central Georgia looking to be impacted by this, all areas within a severe weather risk. So you will want to proceed with caution tonight and not make any outdoor plans. You will want to be inside and staying updated with us here at 13 as we continue to roll through the evening. Ben and I will be here in the studio keeping you updated as this does progress. And once Ben gets here and ready for the 5 o'clock show, we will be eyeing the radar, kind of seeing when that stuff is going to pop up and giving you a better time frame. I will be on Facebook all day. I'll be on Twitter all day, keeping you updated. We're going to keep that web story updated to provide you with updates kind of as we get them right here, so you guys are properly informed and know what is going on for any plans that you may have, because we're running into the problem right now. It is getting to be about the 2:30 hour and getting closer to getting out of school for those kids. I think that's going to be fine. Your kids will get off at the bus stop and be able to get inside and have a little bit of time to prepare for this. But I know the evening commute for folks around 5, 6, getting off on a long Monday, that could be an issue as the stuff does begin to pop up. So once the stuff does start to originate, we will be keeping you updated. I'll be throwing live radar pictures out. Our severe warnings will go out as well as those come in. So continue to stay updated with us here at 13. Let's see. Going to answer a few more comments and then I'll probably hop off the stream. Once again, I want to reiterate the effects of these severe thunderstorms. Typically, what we have been seeing in the past couple of days, we're talking heavy rainfall, we're talking frequent lightning. So frequent lightning, if you hear that thunder, that means you're close enough to be struck by lightning. When thunder roars, go indoors. And lots of lightning is not what you want to be outside for. We're talking very, very gusty winds, up to about 60, 70, even if we get a very, very strong severe cell, even up to 80 miles an hour. So really packing a punch that is more intense than some of the stuff that we have been seeing over the summertime thus far. And we're talking about these winds being in the form of straight line wind gusts. So really powerful, that will blow everything kind of down in the same direction. Not necessarily tornadic activity. I don't believe that's going to happen today. That is going to be more of a risk for the north of us in the Appalachian Mountains and areas up in Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia. But this is going to be very widespread across central Georgia nonetheless, and pack a punch with those very, very severe winds. And we're also talking about the possibility of hail as well. So if those cloud tops can continue to grow higher and higher up into the atmosphere where the cooler temperatures are, that will produce some hail that can grow up to be about an inch, maybe even an inch and a half or 2 inches in diameter associated with these severe thunderstorms. All right, and then once again, this is not just the only risk this week. We are looking at more potential for storms tomorrow, which I will pull up right here. And as you can see, in the afternoon hours, really that stuff getting ramped up, kind of impacting more of our southern counties is what the correlation between models and experts have been saying so far today. But we are still looking at widespread severe weather tomorrow across central Georgia as well around the afternoon hours. So that is going to be the pattern that we are going to be in for about the next week. That front that is kind of pushing all of these storms across the East Coast today is going to come down into central Georgia, and we're looking for it to stall out. So when that front stalls out, it really just keeps all that moisture there. When a front pushes through, it moves all of that moist air out of the way and brings in cooler and drier air typically. We don't necessarily see the cooler air in the summertime because it is central Georgia and we only get a few degrees of relief. But the drier air is good for us because it makes those heat indices go down, and it also makes for less thunderstorm activity as well. But that instead, that front is going to stall out over central Georgia. We're going to see kind of where that plays out, but areas further down south to that boundary are going to be more susceptible to storms and thunderstorms where all that moisture is kind of present. And then as you can see, that's kind of correlated right here with more activity being towards the south right here. So maybe we're looking at the boundary being kind of all the way up here in our northern counties, maybe even a little bit further down, but we will keep you updated throughout the week about where that boundary does go. And that boundary is going to be kind of stalled out for a couple days, and it's really going to keep that moisture up, maybe not as high as what we're seeing today, but still we're talking about dew points in the 70s, making it feel about 6 to 8 degrees warmer, but hopefully nothing like today. What we are seeing, I think at midday, it was 90 degrees in Macon and it was feeling like 106. So we're talking about dew points today that are really making temperatures feel about 15 degrees warmer, and that just goes to show you how much moisture is within the atmosphere right there. All right, with that, I think I've covered just about everything for right now. I will continue to be on the computer all day, just kind of looking at models, keeping you updated as we find out data according to this severe weather outbreak that we are anticipating. So stay posted on my Facebook page, Meteorologist Alex Pry. Stay posted on my Twitter and anything that we do post amongst the weather team here at 13 for the remainder of the evening. So I thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Facebook, shoot me something in the comments once again, and stay weather aware this evening and lock down any of that loose furniture outside, lawn furniture, bring all those pets inside as well.